Everyone treats summer like it owes you happiness. Long days, pool parties, your best life on a loop. So what does it mean when you feel worse? The summer blues are real. It's why summer is one of the busiest stretches of the year for people starting therapy. Therapy is not only for when you're in crisis. Growth therapy is for all the moments when you decide you want more. More support, more clarity, more tools. Mental health isn't a destination you reach. It's something you build, and Grow makes that easier. Grow connects you with thousands of high-quality licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. The therapist you want takes your insurance on Grow. Grow accepts over 125 insurance plans. Sessions average $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/booknow today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/booknow. growtherapy.com/booknow. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan. Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making millions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/hidden. Protect yourself now at aura.com/hidden.
Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Yo, I'm on my way to a frat party and I'm gonna need a kilo. No, just a lot.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John here with Jamie. How you doing, man?
I'm okay. I'm trying to figure out what movie you're from because you had the beach dude vibe going, but also a little bit of Dazed and Confused. So
yeah, I don't
mixture.
know. That's just my voice for what I would assume all frat guys sound like.
Oh yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, my school did not have Greek life, so I'm unfamiliar with that lifestyle.
If you're listening and you were a part of Greek life, it's not that I'm judging you. It's just that I know you were probably spoiled growing up, and that's how you sound.
Dang, that's cold. But these people are definitely spoiled, right? That we're talking about today.
Yeah, well,
we got a lot going on.
If not spoiled, definitely they're into some stuff they shouldn't be. And we're going to go to Penn State.
Man, they just chill?
It's been a long time since we've visited Penn State for something awful, but I tell you, every time we go, it's like the worst.
It is bad. It's really bad there, and I didn't know. I don't even remember where it's at in Pennsylvania, but my goodness. Can't they just go over to Philly or something and do their crimes?
There was a time when I didn't know if Penn State would ever field a football team again, but this is not football related, but it is related to...
It's also not football related.
Yeah, it is related to the fraternities on campus. So all of these individuals named are presumed innocent until proven guilty, and those trials are starting to happen now. So according to prosecutors, between 2023 and 2024, a group of current and former Penn State University students allegedly operated a cocaine distribution network connected to two fraternities, Sigma Chi Is that how you say it? Or Sigma Chi?
No, it's Chi.
Like
That's good.
And then Delta
Upsilon.
So
Yeah.
every time I see Sigma Chi, I think of chai tea,
Okay.
I want some chai tea.
Think of Cobra Kai.
13 of the 14 people eventually charged were students at or around the time of this alleged conduct.
Yeah, this is, again, wild that there's cocaine distribution. The town where it's located is State College, Pennsylvania, which is
That's
not
the generic name if I've ever heard of one.
It's like College Station, Texas, where A&M is. It's called Happy Valley. That's the region that they live in. So it's wild to me that this is happening out there and not in a big city. Prosecutors identified Agostino Abatiello, then a student and later a 2024 graduate from Westbury, New York, and Thomas Robinson as the primary suppliers. Abatiello was described by authorities as being at the very top of the chain. Now, we're not talking like top of his class. We're talking about top of the drug pyramid, allegedly. The pair, allegedly, made regular trips to New York and Philadelphia where they would pick up large quantities of cocaine.
The cocaine was then allegedly cut and packaged primarily at the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternity houses before being distributed mainly to Penn State students. Prosecutors stated that for some pledges, they were cutting and packaging the drugs formed part of their introduction into the fraternities. So I know it's called, is it pledging? Is that what you call it? You pledge and you have to do some initiation and you have to do some menial tasks. I would think that would be like cleaning the toilets and making sure showers are kept nicely. But in this one, allegedly it's packaging and cutting cocaine. I was listening to a podcast today where it was an undercover FBI agent, and he was talking about if you can afford pure cocaine and you buy really good stuff, you can cut it up to 2 or 3 times and still make more money. So it sounds like they were buying some pretty good stuff as far as cocaine is involved.
Yeah, the pledge system, I can't believe we're even still doing that because it is really just high-level continued hazing. And I think we've tried to get hazing out of sports, but we still allow it in. The Pennsylvania Attorney General's office, working with State College Police, conducted an investigation that included controlled buys and a grand jury presentation. Authorities allege that Abatiello continued distributing cocaine as recently as February of 2026. Again, he graduated in 2024. I can't imagine State College Police, after handling all the Penn State football stuff from several years ago, they're like, can't we just go buy some Coke? Oh, wait, now we can.
Yeah. On Monday, August the 17th, 2026, that's when the Attorney General, Dave Sunday, announced charges against 14 individuals. So you've already mentioned Abatiello. He's faced multiple felony counts, including possession with intent to deliver cocaine and conspiracy. There are several other folks, and we don't have to go through all of those names, but they are going to be facing charges with conspiracy, dealing, and then unlawful activity. There's another individual that could be facing felony and misdemeanor charges. There's one defendant, Paul Robinson, who is Thomas Robinson's father. He was charged with felony offenses related to alleged efforts to conceal evidence. So it sounds like they have taken a while to investigate this. They feel like they have enough evidence to arrest 14 people. This is a major operation, and this was a major investigation.
It is. And Paul Robinson coming in and trying to cover it up for his son just shows, Greek life is not all privileged individuals, but certainly some are. And I think Robinson falls into that camp of his dad trying to step in and cover it up. Monday morning, Abatiello failed to appear at his first arraignment, and an arrest warrant was issued. And yesterday morning, as of when this comes out, August 18th, he surrendered to authorities at just 24 years old as an alleged drug kingpin. He was arraigned by a magisterial district judge on felony charges. The judge denied bail, citing factors that included flight risk and the seriousness of these allegations. He was ordered held without bond or bail, and will be remaining in prison for the foreseeable jail, I guess, for now, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, Penn State University stated that it had suspended the Delta fraternity pending investigation and noted that the Sigma Chi is not a university-recognized organization. University officials said that they were horrified by the allegations and would cooperate fully with law enforcement.
Once upon a time, I worked at a college in judicial affairs, so I did investigations of cases on my campus, not as a law enforcement officer, but as a justice official for campus. And I will say there are times when we had drug cases and we would have to investigate those things. And I know Penn State is a lot bigger than the school that I worked at the time, but you couldn't sell large quantities of marijuana without everybody knowing about it. Like it was pretty easy to do those investigations where I worked. So I can't imagine that they're bringing in kilos of coke and nobody knows about it. I think if they really wanted to, they could bring down a lot more people.
I can't imagine. Like, I went to a smaller school growing up, and there was the normal college drinking on campus, but as far as I'm aware, and I think I would be aware, there was no...
What do you mean by that? I'm just kidding.
There was no large scale drug ring going on. So
yeah.
You're in college to try to make something of yourself and try to build your life. And now you're going to be facing that. Most of these kids not having graduated college and with some major felony charges in their background. I said earlier, they're probably spoiled. They're going to have attorneys that are going to try to work the system and try to get these kids amended down to some pretty minor charges compared to what it could be. But man, go to school, do your work, and don't do drugs. It's that easy.
People are looking for a shortcut. This is a get rich quick situation. You're thinking, I can just sell these drugs. I don't have as much competition. I'm not going to have to work hard for the rest of my life. Now, instead of working hard, you might be doing hard time.
Yeah, daggum, sell some caffeine pills or something like.
Sell some weed like normal college students.
Whoa, no, don't sell weed. That's illegal. Caffeine.
Depends on where you are. I think it is in Pennsylvania.
Ah, good point. Take advantage of whatever legalities you have in your state, but work within the law.
Don't break the law. That's what we're here for.
And stick around, because after this, we have another true crime case.
The season hasn't even started, but everyone's already picking a champion. Trade those predictions on Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. Right now, the Rams are the favorites and trading at 16% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out $590 if they lift the trophy. Download the Kalshi app and use code HOOPS to get $20 when you trade $20. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
All right, we're back. This case does not have to do with selling cocaine or drugs at all, but
I wish I had a button where it's people going like, oh, being disappointed.
But it does have to do with your classic murder for hire case.
Of course.
Jamie, why don't you get the ball rolling on this one?
Yeah, today we're going to cover the February 2022 killing of Jared Brigaden in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, and the August 2026 trial of Mario Fernandez Saldana. All details from this are still emerging as the trial is ongoing, and the latest report we have is of August 17th. So those are the that's the point of which we will be leading up to, John. But take us back to February of 2022.
Yeah, this case is in trial this week. So as we record this, we know that tomorrow when this comes out, there could be more information. So this is a case where we're going to have to follow it and keep you updated on Patreon next month. So be interested in that. If you want to, check us out over there, $3 a month. We'll have an update for you then. But on the evening of February 16th, 2022, that's when 33-year-old Jared Brigaden, a Microsoft senior design manager and a father of 4, was driving home after dropping off his twin children at the home of his ex-wife. Her name was Shayna Gardner. He dropped them off in Jacksonville Beach, which was where she was living. His 2-year-old daughter from his second marriage was in the back seat of the vehicle.
It was then that he encountered a tire laying in the middle of a residential road. And John, where we live, I would think, dang, tire fell off a truck, or somebody lost a tire that they were transporting or whatever. I wouldn't think twice about it. I would do exactly what Jared did. He stopped, he got out and moved it out of the way, so that he could pass, but also he didn't want anybody else to pass and hit this tire and get in an accident. However, when he got close to the tire, he was immediately fired upon by a gun and shot multiple times. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Nothing was taken from his person. Nothing was taken from his vehicle. Nobody bothered his daughter in the back seat, but she was strapped in there while her dad lay dead in the middle of the road.
This brings back so many memories of the case that we covered in Bardstown with the officer-involved shooting. There was an ambush where the officer, Ellis, is that right?
Yep, Jason Ellis.
Jason Ellis got out of his car. There was a limb or part of a tree that was in the road. He got out of his car, moved that, and while he was doing that, he was shot upon. And that's the kind of ambush we see here. So this was blatantly obvious to Jacksonville Beach police. They described the incident as a planned and targeted ambush. There were shell casings that were recovered from the street, and Jared and Gardner had been involved in a contentious custody dispute over the twins for several years following their divorce. And remember, he had just dropped those twins off with Gardner.
Investigators eventually started focusing on Shanna Gardner and her new husband, Mario Fernandez Saldana. Prosecutors would claim that the couple orchestrated a murder-for-hire plot stemming from that custody conflict. In early 2023, nearly a year after the shooting happened, authorities narrowed their search and arrested 62-year-old Henry Tenen. Prosecutors said that Tenen was the alleged gunman that had killed Jared Britigan. They stated that Tenen had rented property from Fernandez Saldana and that GPS data showed Tenen traveling the same route that Britigan was on the weeks before his killing.
Yeah, DNA linked to Tenen was reportedly found on a tire similar to the one placed in the road. And in March 2023, Mario Fernandez Saldana was arrested in Orlando and charged with first-degree murder and solicitation to commit a capital felony. Among other counts, prosecutors alleged that he hired Tenen to carry out the shooting. Fernandez Saldana did plead not guilty in this case. Several months later, in August of 2023, a grand jury did indict Shayna Gardner on charges including first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. Prosecutors described her role as central to the alleged plot. Gardner also pleaded not guilty.
Yeah, so essentially we're saying that Britigan and his wife were fighting over custody. That happens often in divorces, not always, but it does happen pretty often. But in this situation, they're saying that Shanna and her new husband decided they wanted to kill her ex so that they could have full custody of the kids and not argue over custody anymore. Instead of doing it themselves, they went out and hired somebody. Now, Henry Tenen had initially entered a guilty plea to second-degree murder, which I find all these charges so intriguing. If he's the one that pulled the trigger, he's being charged with second-degree murder, and the others are being charged with first-degree murder that paid him to do it, allegedly. This was part of an agreement that would require him to testify against the others. But in 2025, he tried to withdraw this plea, saying that portions of his prior statements were false. A judge did allow him to withdraw that plea and proceed to trial. So there's a lot going on here with the charges that are pressed, the charges that still stand. I mean, they dropped some right after that.
Yeah, some charges against Fernandez, including conspiracy and child abuse, were later dropped. So he continued to face first-degree murder and solicitation charges heading into trial. So jury selection for Fernandez Saldano's trial began in mid-August of this year, and opening statements were delivered just the other day, August 17th, in Duval County Court. So prosecutors told jurors that the killing was a personal, targeted ambush carried out by a stranger hired for the purpose of killing this man. And the defense maintained that Fernandez Saldana had no motive or involvement and pointed to evidence they said made it impossible for him to have assisted in the shooting that night. Now, Shayna will have a separate trial that is scheduled to begin in early September. Henry Tennant's trial was set for March of 2027. So that's kind of where things are right now.
Yeah, I think they're still trying to get him to testify in these other trials, but so far he's not agreed to do that. I was listening to a podcast the other day where they were interviewing a guy that used to be undercover with the FBI, and he worked with a lot of hitmen, and he would take out hits. People would call him to pay him to kill people.
I think we're listening to the same podcast, and I was shocked by how low of a number he
That's
gave.
exactly what I was going to bring up. They were talking about how much does it cost to get somebody killed, and I would have guessed, I mean, it's in the tens, hundreds of thousands.
$2,000.
$2,000 will get you a hitman sometimes, and I guess that all depends on.
But you get what you pay for.
Yes, how high profile the target, what the risk they're taking, and how good they are at it. I mean,
ideally, you pay somebody to do that. You never go to court over it.
Yeah, you pay $100,000. I expect for it to be done and never be tied back to me. You pay for $2,000. Probably just going to shoot him in the leg, and then you're all going to jail. So. Yeah. This is a horribly sad situation. These kids lost their father allegedly due to the selfishness and anger of their mother, and that'll play out in court, and we'll keep you posted on the outcome there. But such a sad situation for them, and kudos to the police here to be able to track this down. I mean, we don't know yet how much he was allegedly paid to do this, and maybe it was one of those bigger numbers. I don't know, but for them to work so hard to make sure they had everything in place before moving on Tennant, I think was really solid police work.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned Daniel Ellis earlier, or Jason Ellis. I'm sorry.
Daniel Ellis was an officer in a nearby town who was killed in a different way. Yeah.
And around the same time, it felt like super close together.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jason, we still have not saw charges for his murder, and that is of a police officer. So you feel like, not to say that just anybody doesn't deserve justice, but when one of their own is murdered, they typically are swift to bring charges and track him down. So kudos to those detectives and investigators down in Florida. This one moved rather quickly. Hopefully they got the right guy and they have the evidence they need to win their battle in court.
Yep. We'll certainly keep you updated here on those charges over on Patreon. Also go follow us on social media. We do a lot of updates on videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, and try to keep everybody posted on the goings on of cases that we have recently covered. And both the ones we covered today are mid case, so there will be a lot to update people on.
This trial is going on. There's a lot in true crime going on this week. Did you know the trial for the murder of Tupac is in court right now?
Keefe D, yeah.
We've got oh shoot, my mind's going blank. Is it
Lindsay Clancy?
Yeah, sorry,
it's a big one.
So a lot of big stuff in the news right now. We're going to do our best to keep you posted.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And as always, these have been Crime Stories in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Hey, before we get out of here, we've got a recommendation for your next listen.
If you're looking for some more true crime, but with a real focus on advocacy and giving a voice to the people at the center of these cases, you've got to check out Fire Eyes Media.
Yeah, our friends Jules and Jen are doing incredible work over there. They tell stories that matter. They never lose sight of the victims, which is really important to us. They never lose sight of the families or the communities that were affected.
Go check out Missing in Hushtown, Secrets Beyond the Sacramento River, or Case Uncovered. Every show is thoughtful, compassionate, and incredibly well-researched. They're great storytellers, and they have a lot of people involved over there that help them create a ton of content that you might love.
We love what they're building over there, and we genuinely think that you will as well. So please go check them out.
When you finish this episode of True Crime Cast, make your next listen one of the podcasts from Fire Eyes Media. You can find them wherever you get your favorite podcasts.